We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. And good to be back. It's been what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks? Two weeks. Ha 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 ha. Yes. Yes. So we've been in reruns, but we're back. It is live tonight. It is March 12th. I can't count.
12.
12. We have. Okay, enough of that. We're glad to be here tonight. Unfortunately, for those of you who are looking forward to seeing our backstage interview with Rita Rudner, she did not arrive yet at the Warner Theater before the plane, plane got there. We were there. Plane was not there. She wasn't there. But maybe next time when she's in town. Tonight, my guests are Harry Hamzy, self-defense expert, gourmet chef Roger Kerouac, and Tony the Magic Man. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with our first guests. On?
You're on.
Whoa!
Surprise!
It was a surprise. I didn't know it was coming. We're back. Yes, we are. My first guest, I should say guests, actually, are the president of Black Belt Detective and Investigative Services in the Hamzy School of Ketsuke Karate, Mr. Harry Hamzy. How are you?
How are you, sir?
Welcome. And you brought your assistant tonight, Annette Baca. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yay! We're a lively bunch, yeah.
Well, thank you. Yes, we have the Hamzy School of Self-Defense on 206 South Main Street. I've been teaching the martial arts for the past 48 years.
48 years?
Right.
Now, how did you get interested in this?
I started in my native home in Beirut, Lebanon, when I was 12 years old, and I'm still at it.
Now, you are 10th degree black
yes,
belt?
sir. I'm 10th degree black belt.
Which is as high as they get.
Yes, sir.
Which means that he could take all of us by one hand and fling us around
At the same time.
at the same time.
No, you guys have to learn about the martial art a little bit. What we teach, the Ketsuke style, it isn't just punching people and dragging people. It's the skill of learning self-defense, which divide from self-defense, the self-control, the self-respect, the good attitude, the excellence. And when a person has the self-respect, will have the respect for others. So our teaching, it isn't just to fight. And our problem in our society is the lack of self-confidence, especially in these economic days.
Right.
So I brought with me one of our 4th degree black belt, Miss Annette Baca, who's been with us for 13 years. She captured 14 or 12 or 14 grand champion in New England in the women black belt division. We also have, which were supposed to come with me tonight, my son John Hamzy, who had the New England Grand Champion for 9 years with no opposition. And Harry Hamzy Jr., when his brother was in the service, he had the Grand Champion in New England for 5 consecutive years.
So a whole family of champions
Oh
here.
yes, and I have a grandson, 2 years old. He's starting to bow and work karate.
He's 2 years old?
2 years old.
Can you really start a child that young in something that is
No.
not disciplined?
No, yes, you can teach the child discipline from day one, if you will.
Okay.
We teach him how to bow, yes sir, no sir, and between his mother and dad, my daughter-in-law, who's brown belt, 3rd degree black belt, his father's a 9th degree black belt, and all of us in the family, and he come down to the karate school, and the first thing he say, Sensei Baca, I love you, and he give her a big hug.
Now, sensei means master,
Sensei,
teacher?
no, mean a teacher, yes sir, yes sir. We've been in this business in the town of Torrington for the past 32 years. We have 2 branches in Torrington, one on South Main Street and the other one at the Nautilus, where Mr. Dakota, friend Dakota, teach. We have 14 other branches in Thomaston, Mr. Tedesco, in Burlington, Mr. Keller, and we have 2 in Florida, 2 in California, 1 in Massachusetts, no, 3 in Massachusetts and 1 in New York. Our organization called UKKA, United Ketsuga and Karate Association. We have 152 active black belt We have 2,800 student members, and we're growing. Why? Because we provide our students what they want to learn. And as you can see, what we tell the first thing we say, don't lie. Can you imagine a world without lie, how beautiful things will be?
It's hard to imagine, actually. I mean, even those little white lies, you know, you tell to, like, you know, smooth things over.
We don't teach them what our president's saying, you know.
Okay.
Neither one of our past two presidents. Anyway, that's beside the point. But we teach them the fact. No one have to lie. Did you know that? You never have to lie.
Never.
Say it as is. Never. As is. If the people who hearing it like it, okay. If they don't, it's just too bad.
So not only do you deal with self-defense, but you also deal with philosophies to some extent.
Yes, sir.
Now, you're going to show us tonight how you sort of combine those two, and what the finished product is.
We'd be more than happy to do so. We'll do it with focus, power, and speed.
Wow, sounds great.
Okay.
Okay,
Are
so
you
let's
ready,
get you on
Sensei?
mic.
Yes, sir.
This is going to be great. Here, I'll take that. Okay, this is Harry Hamzy and Annette Baca.
We will make sure that there is no contact so no one will get hurt.
Especially me. I'm going to hide behind the desk.
I'm going to try to choke Sensei Baca. 99% of the problem will be the thumbs of the Adam apple. So she's going to do a break and a fast with no contact. Anybody can make contact. Takes a lot of practice to control your kick and punch. Go Sensei. Remember, I have no cup, kid. Okay. The second move, we'll go through a slap to the face or roundhouse punch. Go ahead. Again, in a slow motion, left hand block, right hand chop, right foot kick, right hand back fist.
It's incredible. This is incredible. I mean, just the precision that you move.
May I ask you to come here for 1 minute?
Sure.
Oh, yes. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
David,
Did we ever work together before?
never before.
I never saw you in my life. Did
No, well, just before the
Just
show
now.
started. Yeah.
Right? David, all I want you to do, try to grab my hand like this.
Okay.
I will use just 2 fingers, and I can drag you all over town, and you will not be able to stand up.
Okay.
And if you do, I give you $100.
$100. Okay.
So, go ahead, sir. We will go easy so
Okay.
we will not hurt you.
Okay.
Go ahead. Don't worry about it. Here we go. David, stand up for $100. Let's make it 5, David.
I'll pass. I think the damage that we do would be more than $500 worth. So.
From here, you have the feet to work. Don't worry, we'll not kick you.
Oh, go ahead,
Thank you
kick it.
very much, David.
Thank you. Oh, fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is a part of what we teach. This is a part of Ketsuke. Ketsuke is the best in the martial art for practical self-defense. There is no such thing. There is 2 kinds of karate. There is the art and there is the sport. The sport is when all of it is good. All martial art is good. All depend on the instructor. Just like a physician, carpenter, a lawyer. So who teach the martial art? And a black belt is the symbol of excellence in service, in attitude, in everything you do. Therefore, in 1981, Black Belt Security and Detective was born through the we named it a Black Belt because we provide the best in service, whether it's the martial art, detective, or security.
It's great.
Do we have any questions here? Well, how about you?
Have you-
volunteer?
Would I like to volunteer?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I have much choice here. do I?
Yes.
It's up to you.
No,
No, fine, I'm here.
no, sure.
What we're trying to do to show you it is not phony. What we do is fact. And if you've taken the martial art, it's great. All styles are good. But we urge you to check on the instructor ability, attitude, the length of time they've been in business. Make sure that instructor had competed in the martial art. not to just state, I'm a martial artist.
Prove it, right?
Okay? If you will, this is my hand. I'm using 2 fingers. I'll go as easy as I can, and I bring you right down. Would you like to stand up?
I think I'll pass.
Oh, go
Are you
ahead, try
sure it
stand
is
up.
not phony?
Oh, no, I'll pass.
Thank you very much. And your name is?
Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you very much. So these few of the things we do teach.
Yeah.
We teach if someone pull you by the hair, go on. Easy. We only put in a demonstration. If someone tried to choke you from the back, what would you do? Can you kick my hand, Sensei? Let's see. We have to make sure. Okay, look this way. Go ahead.
Yep.
This is higher than her head. And can you kick it faster, please? Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. It's so disciplined. It is so incredibly disciplined. You know, I mean, the moves, and I guess, you know, you have to keep your mind clear as you move through these things, not panic. I would say that's probably a very important thing to do, not panic. I know I would. If someone came at me trying to choke me, I'd be like, ah, you know.
There you go.
Sort of like you when you were on the floor, you know.
Well, unfortunately, in our days now, everyone requires some kind of a sport, some kind of exercise, and the best thing we suggest is the martial art. But not every black belt or so-called black belt is a black belt instructor, unfortunately. But that's the way it is.
Right.
Example, we've been teaching in Tonga about 32 years. We never had an accident. No one ever broke his leg or her arm or broke mine. And this is very important because who can afford to be out of work because of a sport accident, whether you are skiing or taking the martial art? So that's very important. And the most important is the children, our future, to make sure that the parents get involved.
Right.
Not necessarily to take the martial art, but for support to their children.
Right.
You know,
I see here, actually, you have some tips for parents
yes, sir, we do.
in dealing and communicating with their children. I mean, not just related specifically to the martial arts, but just, I mean, day-to-day life, things, you know, to look out for, and ways to deal with their children.
Will you be kind to read some of those?
Sure.
Maybe we can help somebody.
Okay, let's see what we have here. Number 1, before you say no, explain to the child why. Number 2, parents should be their child's best friend. I agree with that, as well as a parent, so they will trust them and come to them with their secrets and problems. Never steal or cheat. Children will know. And it's true, kids do know. They have an innate ability, they do. Never lie to your children. They'll come back to haunt you. Teach your children to tell you the truth at all times, no matter how hard it is. And that would be a tough lesson to teach a child, because as you know, we learn it in school from other kids. We learn quickly that, you know, telling a fib is the easiest way to try to get out of trouble with the teacher or with classmates or whatever. So I can see where that would be an important lesson. Tell your children that you love them.
Absolutely.
Even when you disagree with them. That's a real important one, I think. I really agree with that, because it's you have to separate the two.
You know,
you can
Jeff,
be a friend and still love someone.
You know, Jeff, I'm very lucky. I'm maybe the luckiest person on this earth. I have 2 children, 35 and 34. Not everything they do I agree with them, but they know I love them. So no matter what your child does, tell them, I may disagree with you, son or daughter, but I still love you. And you only tell them the truth.
Right.
It's the fact.
Right.
And we kind of cheap by saying the real word, I love you. Why not? If you love someone, tell them. If you don't, they will know it.
This is good. Harry, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and thank you very much for coming on. Annette, I'm sorry, I apologize. Annette, thank you for coming on and helping demonstrate some of the self-defense moves. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be back with our next guest, Roger Kerouac.
All right.
Yo! Oh, well, I'm just thankful it was not me down there getting my arm twisted
Yeah,
like you
I'll
guys. It was fun to watch, though. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I truly enjoyed it, especially you, Mr. Giggles. My next guest is the chef and manager of the Trinity in Terryville, and I had the wonderful pleasure of sampling some of his food at the Gratefully Yours wine tasting dinner on Valentine's Day. Won't you please welcome Mr. Roger Kerouac. Welcome.
Good to be here. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, tell us about the magic behind the meal. We know what the food tastes like. We know it's good, but what goes into these ornate dishes? I mean, some of the things that you created at that meal were incredible. I want to talk about that for a little bit. Seriously, I mean, you had things like Southwestern sushi, and we were just talking about the mushroom strudel and things like that. I mean, where do you get your ideas?
A lot of the times when I go on vacation, and I like to get as far away as possible when I get on vacation, obviously. And I like to go to not really exotic places, but places that I can have their local cuisine. For instance, Grand Cayman Island, I went to a very nice, small, quaint restaurant, and they had a black bean soup with sausage. And I was trying it, I was like, wow, this is fantastic. And I'm going to do my version with a Cajun sausage, and then make variations. So I'm not saying I steal recipes, I modify them.
Oh, okay.
That's where I usually do my best thinking, is after a nice meal, then go on the beach and relax and not have to come up with something under the gun last minute. The wine tasting dinners do give me the ability to be a little more creative. The Trinity Banquet Hall, which I chef manage, that I have been for the past 5 years, I wouldn't say it's repetitive, but I do mostly weddings and wedding-related type functions like anniversaries, class reunions, showers. I do have a creative menu, but you do get the people that pretty much go with your typical primary big stuffed shrimp, chicken cordon bleu, week after week. Sometimes I look at the menu and I'm like, well, I'm doing this again today. I did this last night, I'm doing it tomorrow, matter of fact. So the 9-course wine tasting dinners that I've done for the past 5 years for Gratefully Yours does give me the ability to come up and with something creative and out of the ordinary, to say the least, in some of the things. You mentioned the Southwestern sushi.
Yeah, now it was beautiful to look at, and of course, I think the entire description on the menu, if I'm not mistaken, was Southwest sushi with Nagasaki sauce or something.
San Antonio Nagasaki sauce.
San Antonio Nagasaki sauce.
It wasn't
Almost. We did. The people. Yeah.
Well, you're still alive to talk about it, so it wasn't.
Oh, it was delicious. Yeah, it was delicious.
Well, that came when I visited my sister, who's a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force in San Antonio, and we happened to go to a sushi bar.
Okay.
And then after that, we were preparing dinner. We went to the market and we were getting some fresh tortillas. And I was like thinking, geez, I'd like to be able to incorporate something from this vacation into the wine tasting dinner, and that's where I came up with that. There wasn't actually any raw fish in it.
Right,
it looked more like sushi.
Right, it was cooked, yeah.
And the sauce was spicy, to say the least.
All right.
Yes. Yes, it was. It was very good. It was very spicy. I was like dipping in there, and smoke was coming out of my ears. But
I think a cold beer would have probably been better with it than a glass of wine, but...
Now, when you do a wine tasting dinner, okay, something like that, it's specialized, what comes first? Do they come to you and say, we have these wines that we want to show, to bring out, or whatever they call it, and then here, what are your ideas? Or do you say to them, okay, I have some ideas for some, courses here, and they match the wines to meet your food?
See, that's a very good question, because I always do the wine tasting dinner in February. Thus, I have to have the wines orchestrated to the food as opposed to vice versa.
Okay.
Given what's available fresh at that given time of the year. I can't do anything with, say, fresh currants in February, because there aren't fresh currants available anywhere on the planet.
So you do use all fresh things. You strive for that in your cooking.
I wouldn't say that I'm a purist. But I don't use handfuls of salt. I cook more with fresh herbs, garlic, utilizing all the different flavors of onions and again, fresh herbs and making all my stocks and sauces from stock reductions, and that makes a big difference. Some people I give them a recipe and they try to duplicate it, and if you use, say, a canned chicken stock as opposed to a fresh chicken stock, it's not going to come out the same.
Right, because there's a lot of salt and that kind of stuff.
Exactly, a lot of salt, preservatives, and things that you really don't need to add.
Right. Now, let me backtrack with you. How did you get interested in cooking? I read your biography. It says you started in the kitchen when you were 12 years old.
Yes.
I was in chains when I was 12. They didn't let me out until I was old enough to drive, and they said keep going. So your mother actually let you in the kitchen and let you cook.
Well, I had anything but a conventional upbringing. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I was born in Vermont, 5 miles from the Canadian border, where basically there's 9 months of winter and 3 months of bad skiing. And I was raised in a 77-room, century-old hotel that my father was the chef and manager of, and my mother was hospitality manager and front desk clerk and everything else that my father had her do.
Yeah.
And at the age of 7, I actually started in the kitchen, and I actually started cooking at the age of 12. So it was a different type of upbringing. But of course, when you're a child, you figure every kid grows up in a hotel and.
Yeah. I mean, did you help cook things for the guests, or did you just do your own little projects?
I think my dad basically had me doing more preparatory work and dishwashers. Of course, I was a dishwasher. They had an old Otis elevator at the time where. You had the translucent door and then the cage, and you had to stop it and start it and stop it by hand. So it wasn't just push button. So I was the bellhop.
Yeah. Now, being that close to the Canadian border, okay, close to Montreal, Quebec,
90 miles.
Quebec province. I know from talking to other people who've lived up in that neck of the woods, there's a lot of French influence. I mean, it does. It just trickles down, and there's a lot of French Canadians living on our side of the border. In the cooking that your father did he have any influences from that?
Oh, definitely. Like you say, there are. My first language was French. My parents and my grandparents, and I knew pretty much no English when I entered grammar school.
This sounds exactly like me. I grew up the same way. Yeah.
I think the regional cuisine in that neck of the woods did have, my father had to do certain things like make pâté chinois on certain days, which of course around here would be called shepherd's pie.
Right.
Or
sounds so elegant in French, though. Yes.
Pâté chinois. But definitely there's the influence. A lot of bread and meat and potatoes, I should say, dishes. Back when my father, who was a chef in World War II, and I should say a mess sergeant, in World War II in the Korean conflicts, that's where he learned how to cook. And then when he came back from the wars, got into the hotel industry, I think most of the people back then were geared to give me a big steak, big baked potato, big tossed salad.
Yeah, the basics, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I have very fond and vivid memories of the hotel, and it was a lot of fun.
That's great. Now, for people who are watching, people like me who I like to cook, I like to cook a lot, and I do get in the kitchen and destroy it regularly. Well, I have to. If I don't, no one will, as some of you know. This tape won't go home. But what kind of advice would you give to someone, like, okay, I'm a dilettante, okay, I mean, I get in there, I have tons of cookbooks, which makes me feel very important, it makes me feel like I have some ability and I can get in there. And I actually do open the books, and I read them. I have some French cookbooks, some Polish cookbooks, some Chinese cookbooks, I have all this stuff. What would you say is a good way to start learning to cook? What kind of basic steps should everyone get under their belt before they really go out and try to tackle these, rather intricate things that you can, find in cookbooks?
I think basically what turns people off is when they're looking at a recipe and they get scared off because it's too technical, or there are a couple ingredients that they don't like. If you start with basic things that you like, and then put them together and don't be afraid to experiment.
Right.
If you like basil, use basil. If the recipe calls for coriander and you rather have cilantro, which actually that's the same thing.
Yeah. Even I do that.
If you rather have tarragon than basil,
okay.
Modify the recipe according to your likes or dislikes. If you like more garlic, use more garlic. If you don't like certain things, delete it. And I think a lot of people, when they see a recipe, they get scared off and they just don't want to even attempt it.
So, in other words, a recipe really isn't written in stone. It's
No.
simply a guide.
I think that most people should use cookbooks for reference only, just to refer to. If they try something or they're trying to make maybe a bouillabaisse and they know that the basic ingredients from the book, but it doesn't have to be followed per se exactly the way it's defined in the book.
Okay.
Use it for reference.
Great. Now, this is my own personal curiosity because I've never been able to do it right. Every time I do it, it comes out wrong. How do you boil water? No, just close though. Okay, the question's actually close. How can you, without really making a big mess and without having to go out and buy lots of really bizarre things, make a nice, clear stock?
To make a nice clear stock, well, there are lots of different ways.
A simple way, something simple that I could do.
If you're doing a chicken stock, basically you want to use chicken necks and backs, carcasses.
Sounds
You don't
attractive
want
so
to.
far.
You want to make sure that when you put your onions in and your celery and your carrots, that they're cleaned. You don't want to put I should say onion skins, which will cloud the stock. Bring it to a boil. Boil it for like say 45 minutes with peppercorn and clove. And then what you basically want to do is you want to strain it, let it cool.
Okay, now straining it, you mean like pouring it through cheesecloth or
Yeah,
something
if you want
like
it
that?
very, very refined, you want to basically let it cool. And then the fat comes to the top, remove that. You'll have sediment in the bottom. And it's the intermediate part that you really want. And then through refining it through, like you said, cheesecloth, you're going to get a decently clear stock. You can also do, which is much more involved, would be to take ground veal, which is costly,
Yes.
and egg whites, and create what they call a raft. And you put that all in the bottom of the stock, and you bring it up to a very, very slow simmer. This takes a while, and the raft comes up, the egg whites, and clarifies it totally. That would give you a consommé quality stock.
My God.
But that's
Now-
involved. That is involved.
Yeah, okay, so let's say for the simple one, the first one you were talking about, how long from start to finish does it take? If you're following it, you're peeling, are you saying peel the carrots, take the skin off the onions? How long does it take?
You can do it if you're not involved with too many other things at once in, I would say, 1 hour.
Now, see, I always thought it took forever. I mean,
For chicken stock, an hour is good.
yeah, I mean, I do things like stick it in the oven, cook overnight, and all kind of, it's like
for veal stock, you can do
bake
that.
the bones. I mean, I've got all these recipes. Bake the bones.
Well, that's if you want
put 'em in
more
the-
coloration in it.
Yeah, and put them in cold water. Start with cold water. I mean, all these.
Chicken stock, you want to start with cold water.
I'm going to burn that one cookbook now. That I know. Okay. Now, we have some recipes that you
Yes.
brought with you tonight,
Yes.
which they were kind enough in the control booth to put on the character generator. And the first recipe is for white chocolate raspberry butter, which sounds tempting, delicious. Now, what would you use something like this for, first of all?
What's nice about having composed butters is that you can, they freeze very well, they hold in the refrigerator very well also, and you can always take them out at the last minute if you have last minute guests and you want to do something special that, of course, isn't going to take you a long time to do.
Right.
Taking like this recipe for the white chocolate butter, you would just
It's jumping around a little bit up there.
basically just want to melt the proportions of the butter, actually the white chocolate, mix it with the butter in a food processor of some sort.
Okay.
And then add whatever flavorings you want. I said raspberry preserves or pureed raspberries. You can put anything that you like. If you'd rather use dark chocolate, you can use dark chocolate, although the white chocolate butter tends to look nicer.
Yeah.
And it amazes the people, especially if you don't tell them what it is.
Okay.
It's gonna get that sweetness.
And we sort of had that surprise at the wine tasting there
Yes.
because it was just simple white chocolate butter.
Instead of white chocolate butter, I didn't incorporate any raspberry into it.
And it was delicious.
Thank you. It's very good with just hot dinner rolls, croissants, any type of toast or bread, and it adds a nice flair without, again, the time consumption for a last minute guest coming over on Sunday morning, and
Right.
you don't want to have to deal with anything.
Right. I want to go back to that. You still have it up there? Can we go back to that? Thank you. No, back to the beginning.
The beginning.
Now.
Can't do that.
What do you mean? What do you mean he can't do that?
Incapable of.
Incapable of.
Do not
Okay.
possess the technology.
Okay, fine. Well, I possess the piece of paper, so I'm going to read it. Okay. Yes, watch me. Yes. There you are. Are we going to play bounce the camera? I guess not. Okay. Recipe: white chocolate, raspberry butter. 1 part high-quality white chocolate, 4 parts unsalted butter, 1 part raspberry preserves or puree, or it could be, some other sort of fruit.
Strawberry, blueberry.
Yes, no seeds. Now see, there it is. Okay. In a double boiler, melt the white chocolate until smooth. In a food processor on low speed, whip the white chocolate with the softened butter. Add the raspberry base or whatever fruit you choose until everything's all nice and mushy. And then you can then put it into a pastry bag and make rosettes, which is lovely for dinner. That's what you did at the wine tasting thing. Or you can put it in a big tub and just sit in the fridge and pull it out on Sunday morning when you're having brunch. And that sounds good to me too. Now, we have a second recipe. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? It's a chicken recipe for dinner, I take it.
It's sauteed boneless breast of chicken with a champagne basil cream sauce.
Yum.
Lots of different preparations for chicken. The one that I gave you was basically to marinate the chicken overnight in a concoction of a little bit of honey. The portions will be on the screen. A little bit of honey and milk or cream. This just makes the chicken outrageous.
Outrageous.
It's just outrageous. You can do this with any type of chicken. Chicken that's on the bone, off the bone. You can use, capon, a rock Cornish hen, anything.
Okay.
It just really, really makes the chicken very moist.
Now, what does it? The honey or the milk or both?
I think it's a combination of the both of them.
Does it actually alter the flavor of the chicken?
It doesn't really alter the flavor per se, but it does. You can cut it with a fork, and it just. Again, you really have to do this recipe, and you'd be very surprised at what it does to the chicken.
Wow. And can we go back to that now? Like, continue to scroll it. There we go. I love it. Marinate a pound of boneless chicken breast in 1 cup of milk and 2 tablespoons honey overnight. Dredge breast in flour, season with salt and pepper. Dip chicken in milk and egg mash. 1 cup milk, 2 eggs. Saute in olive oil. This sounds so good.
That's supposed to be egg wash, by the way.
Egg wash.
You have a dyslexic M there.
Egg mash. We have egg mash down south. Yes, heat until golden brown, transfer to 325 degrees in oven-proof dish to finish the cooking. And how long does it take once you get it in the oven, like to, finish it?
Until it's done.
Until it's done.
People always ask me, how long does it take to cook this?
Yeah.
Until it's done, basically.
Poke it with a fork.
Well, you can do that. There are lots of different ways. If it feels like your nose, it's done. You can do one of these things. You can also tell steaks are done that way.
Okay, now, real quick. I want to talk about the sauce. We didn't get the sauce on, there's a sauce that goes with this. You want to do it? You want to talk about the sauce?
Well, it's a reduction of, can I borrow this for
Yes, go right ahead.
Thank you. It's a reduction of champagne, or you could use white Zinfandel wine with chopped garlics and shallots, and you reduce that volume by half. Add fresh chicken stock that we talked about earlier. Simmer, add heavy cream, salt and white pepper to taste, and at the end, when you have your desired thickness, adjust the seasonings and add just fresh chopped basil and right over the top of the chicken. Very simple, but it's very good. And of course, you can also modify the basil, like I said, with any other type of herb.
Sounds wonderful. We've run out of time, and I'm so sad because I'm getting hungry thinking about this, and I haven't had dinner. Roger, I want to thank you for coming on, and I hope you will come back and bring more recipes, and we can maybe have a cooking demonstration sometime.
Sure, I'd love to do that.
We'll bring the Bunsen burners and set the studio. Hibachi. We'll set the studio on fire. Thank you very much, Roger.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're going to go to a quick station break, and we'll be right back. Hey! My next guest, there I am. Yes, and here I am, and I'm back. And I've taken control of the station. Yes, my next guest became interested in pantomime and magic at the age of 8. He performed his first show in a talent contest in which he won first place at that young age. Since then, he's gone on to entertain audiences and do parties all around the area. Won't you please welcome Tony, the Magic Man, performing a series of pantomime acts, which are The Man Losing His Hand, The Man In and Out of the Box, The Robot, The Blind Date, and finishing up with a little magic. Won't you welcome Tony, the Magic Man?
All right.
Magic Man. Come over here real quick. Have a seat, have a seat. We just have like, a minute maybe. Welcome, and that was wonderful. Now, I don't know, we're running out of time. How much time do we have? Does someone please tell me? A minute, 2 minutes? 2 minutes, yes we do. Or are you just giving me the finger points? My wonderful producer Christy. Now you've been doing this since you were 8 years old?
Yes, I've been doing pantomime. I used to be shy, that's what it was. And I didn't know how to group in with the crowd. And all of a sudden I saw this program on TV, Yils and Charnel, which was our team group. And it just got together and started practicing in front of a mirror. And from there on, I painted on my face, and it actually
You're not
me.
Yeah, you're not silent now, so we'll get this on you. Oh, if we can.
Thank you.
Oh, darn.
Oh, here we go.
Yes.
Anyway, like I was saying,
Yes.
I used to be into pantomime. Trained to be a shy person, got together and got in front of a mirror and actually started practicing in front of there, painted my face, and started just being myself.
Okay. Now, before we really go,
Okay.
how can people get a hold of you if they'd like for you to come visit their parties?
Sure, I do birthday parties, dads, wedding discotheques, all ages and all occasions, and my number is 574-3303. I do clowning and also stand-up magician with the suit and tie.
Great. I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. Roger, thank you again. And to my other two guests, Harry and Annette, who were on earlier, thank you. Next week, I don't know who's going to be on next week, but who?
Tim Lundgren.
Yes, Tim Lundgren, illustrator Tim Lundgren will be on, and other great guests of note, interesting people, whoever, Christy tells me later on this week. We're always on the fly here, but I want to thank you all for coming back. It's been too long, 2 weeks absence. Hopefully the storm tomorrow will not be as bad as they say, and we will see you next Friday unless we're digging ourselves out. So, from everyone here, this is Jeff. This has been TGIF. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next Friday at 8 o'clock.